So as we know, sound can be described by its frequency and amplitude. The frequency, sometimes called the pitch, or the amplitude, the intensity, is related to the perceived volume or loudness. A human ear, in perfect working order, can hear over the frequency range of 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. This upper number drops as humans age. The frequency scale here, we have infrasound down one end, this is very low frequency sound, and ultrasound up the other end, this is very high frequency sound. This is where humans sit in the middle of this scale, around 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. This is where dogs sit. Dogs can hear a slightly higher range of frequencies than we can, whereas elephants can hear a slightly lower range of frequencies than we can. And bats that use echolocation can hear to a much higher range of frequencies. Not all frequencies are detected or heard or perceived with the same sensitivity by the human ear. So even though we hear over the range of 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, we don't hear all of these frequencies at the same level. The decibel scale does a good job of translating the changes of amplitude of the wave's vibrations into a sound intensity number that more closely matches the sound that we humans experience, but the decibel scale ignores the frequency sensitivity that human beings have. What this means that two noises can have the same sound level intensity beta, but not sound equally loud to us. In terms of measuring sound level meters generally have a setting that is weighted to the loudness perception as a function of frequency to the human ear. They generally look like this, with a little microphone at one end and an output at the other. This weighting of frequencies is shown on this figure of sound level in decibels versus frequency in hertz. The curves here are called phon curves. A phon is an expression of loudness. Phons are different to decibels, as a phon is a unit of loudness and a decibel is an expression of relative intensity. The purpose of these curves is to quantify the effect of frequency on the perceived loudness of different frequencies or tones. The curves were determined by having large numbers of people compare the loudness of sounds at different frequencies and sound intensity levels. The first thing to note is that these curves are defined with respect to the perceived loudness at 1000 Hz. Here. This is here, and you can see that the phons here are defined to be numerically equal to decibels. So if the phon curve passes through 60 decibels at 1000 Hz, it is, by definition, called the 60 phon curve. Thus, by saying a noise has a loudness of 60 phons, it is saying that this noise sounds as loud to me as a 60 decibel noise does at 1000 Hz. That's all there is to it. So a dip in the phon curve, like this here, means that the ear is more sensitive at this frequency range. There is a clear dip in the range of 2 to 5000 Hz, with a peak sensitivity around 3.5 to 4000 Hz. This is actually associated with the anatomy of our ear. It's associated with a fundamental resonance of the outer ear canal, which, as we will soon see in the next set of videos, can be approximated well to be a tube with one opened end and one closed end. Interestingly, this high sensitivity region at 2 to 5 kHz is very important for the understanding of human speech. The rise in the phon curve here means that the ear is less sensitive. If we highlight three different phon curves, say the 120, 60 and 0 phon curves, we can see that the human ear shows a big difference in the response rates to sounds at different loudnesses. The top curve here in green shows that the response to a very loud sound is quite flat or quite uniform with respect to frequency. The bottom curve here in blue, which is on the threshold of human hearing at 0 phons, i.e. it's very soft, shows a big rise to low frequency sounds, so the ear is less sensitive to these frequencies. The 60 phon curve in the middle, in pink, is relatively flat, but with a few dips or enhancements associated with the ear canal resonance effects, as we will discuss next.